Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. We're streaming live to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X. I'm Gary Franchi, and tonight we are just 4 days away from what could be the most consequential election in American history. But before we dive in, I want you to do something right now. Grab your phone and text this live stream link to 3 people that you trust. Why? Because big tech's algorithms are actively suppressing this broadcast, and we need your help to break through their censorship. And speaking of breaking through, tonight's show is absolutely explosive. We're tracking multiple developing stories the mainstream media is desperately trying to bury. Video you will never see on the news, but you'll see it here. And here's the thing. They can't bury the truth anymore because we have the receipts. And first up, we've got Donald Trump. He just dropped a $10 billion legal bomb on CBS News. Why? Because they thought they could get away with manipulating Kamala Harris's 60-minute interview through deceptive editing. We've got the details that expose exactly how they tried to mislead you. Then, the Washington Post is literally imploding before our eyes. When conservative commentator Hugh Hewitt dramatically walked off their broadcast, he didn't just remove his earpiece, he ripped the mask off their entire operation. And now 250,000 subscribers are following him out the door, and we're learning some very interesting connections between WAPO's coverage and the Harris campaign. But perhaps most shocking of all, we've got breaking developments about ActBlue's alleged foreign money scheme. Speaker Mike Johnson has launched an investigation into what could be the biggest campaign finance scandal in American history. We're talking about potentially money flowing in from China, Iran, Russia, and Venezuela, all while suspicious voting machine glitches are popping up across the country. And yes, there are police, and they are armed, and they are preventing people from voting. Now, I want to speak directly to you, our live audience. Your voice matters in this conversation. And throughout the show, we will be featuring your comments, your reactions, and your insights right here on screen. Send in your super chats. I just saw one that just came in as $100. What the heck? Wow. What did they say? Hi, everyone. The Guardian 1 dropped a 100 spot right out the gate. So this is awesome, and we are off to a rocking start already. So send in the super chats on YouTube, your Rumble rants, and we'll make sure your voice is heard by millions of people. And let me be completely transparent with you. This kind of investigative journalism, this platform for truth, it only exists because of your support. Your super chats, your Rumble rants, you know? The mainstream media has billion-dollar budgets to push their narratives. We have you. That's why I'm asking you to consider making a donation tonight. The links are in the description below. Every dollar helps us continue bringing you the stories they do not want you to hear. And for those just joining us on Rumble and X, make sure you follow us there as well. The censorship is getting worse, and we need to stay connected across all platforms. So buckle up, America. In the next hour or so, we're going to show you exactly why the mainstream media is in panic mode, why the political establishment is scrambling, and most importantly, what it all means for you, just days away from this historic election. So stay right here. The Raw Feed starts now, and it's time to welcome you to the show. All right, who's in the house right now? We got Dave Wallenberg. We got Layla in the house. We got Don Bing. We got the Guardian 1 dropping that 100 spot, man. That is sweet. Thank you so much. Yes, Ladybug, Sarah, it has been a bizarre year, and we are at the end of this campaign season, and it is just hotter than ever. We got Chrono in the house. We got Dewey Bowser thanking me for bringing you the honest news. Well, I'm kind of addicted to it, so there's really no saving me. Let's see. We got Cancer Truth in the house. Gary Franchi equals Patriot stud. I have a feeling that might be Mr. Ty Bollinger himself joining us on the stream. What's up, Ty? It's always great to see you. We've got Becky Barnett in Michigan. Remember to sound off where you are watching from, your city, your state, location, what kind of device, smartphone, laptop, tablet, smart TV, whatever. If you're streaming it from Elon Musk's SpaceX platform, whatever that thing is, hey, we got New River Troll in the house. I see you. I got you. We got Tim Spa. He says, Communist Kamala. Yes, make sure you hit the like button. We got Steve Turk in Nevada. We got Irish Annie. She's here. Vicky, what's up? Dave. We got Big Don 25. Just giving a shout out to Trump 2024. Scott Edwards, Switzerland in the house. I love seeing our international viewers because they know what is at stake, and we're trying to hold down the fortress of freedom right here in the United States, and you guys know what's at stake, so you watch us because we're fighting for freedom all across the world right here from this studio. We got Sue Studio 0530. What's up, Gary and Angie, she says. Mary Jo's in the house. We got Wanda Tucker in Iowa holding down. If you voted early, tap the number 1 on your chat. I want to know who voted early, because voting early is absolutely critical. And looks like we got another super chat. Running Bear dropping $1.99. He says he's working on it. He's working on it. Who else is in the house right now? Let's see. We got to bring up that super chat because that's what we are obliged to do here, because Running Bear dropped it. So we got The Guardian dropping 100 already. We haven't even started yet. And then we got Running Bear dropping $1.99. Thank you, Running Bear, for that. Yes, that's what happens when you drop your super chats. You get special treatment from yours truly. Okay, going back into it here, we've got the F. Namen, Debbie. Oh, look at all these ones. Look at them all. Look at all my early voters. Yeah, come on, early voters. Let's go. Let's go. We've got a nation to save. And we've got lots of news to get to. Dawn voted today. Look at all these early voters. Sweet. I love it. Mark Wojo from Minnesota. He's here. Look at all the early voters. Go, baby, go. Wade in Nassau, Bahamas. Wouldn't that be a nice place to go? That's where I'd want to be after the election day, because when Trump wins this thing, yeah, Antifa's going to be pretty pissed. Okay, what else we got? Look at all these ones. I can't even. Mesquite, Texas. I saw the FN Neubillion. Got some breaking news for you. He says, in my area involving voter fraud. Well, the best way to get a hold of me is to either email me at gary@nextnewsnetwork.com or DM me on X. Those are the best ways to communicate with me. And I've been getting some voicemails from people at our phone. Listen, I'm a one-man show. I don't have the ability to answer all the phones here and get to all the messages. I do my best. But again, email is always the best. If you have evidence of something, send it my way, gary@nextnewsnetwork.com, or just DM me on X, and make sure you follow me there. Look at all these early voters. Holy cow. This is so great to see. Okay, Guardian 1, he is my son. Okay. All right. We've got a lot to get to right now, so let's jump right into it, because the media has been stirring up some serious lies about President Trump. Yes, the Trump battles he's battling a double deception right now. Tonight, we're exposing a pattern of manipulation that would make Orwell blush. Not only has Donald Trump launched a $10 billion lawsuit against CBS News for allegedly doctoring Kamala Harris's interview, but now we're watching CNN and others deliberately twist his words about Liz Cheney. They're claiming he called for violence when in reality, he was pointing out the hypocrisy of war hawks who send others to fight while never facing danger themselves. The deception is systematic, and we have the receipt. Now, you know what's interesting about these media deceptions? They're trying to make you see something that isn't there, just like those expensive creams that promise reverse aging but don't address the real problem. It's collagen loss. After the age of 20, did you know your body produces 12% less collagen each decade? That's why I'm passionate about our sponsor's collagen supplement. Unlike the mainstream media's edited content, this is the real deal. 5 types of premium collagen that actually work. Just like Trump's fighting for truth in media, I'm fighting for your right to look and feel younger. Visit healthwithgary.com now while the 51% discount still lasts. Okay, so this was on the front page of the Drudge Report. Did you see this? Trump calls for Cheney's execution. What a shame. The Drudge Report used to be such a Great place to go and get news and information. And now they are even twisting the truth worse than CNN ever could. Yeah, that's the big narrative right now. We're also learning that Republican presidential candidate Donald J. Trump has now sued CBS on Thursday over an interview of his Democrat rival Kamala Harris, aired in early October, that said the lawsuit alleged was doctored and misleading, according to the court filing. Yeah, this is huge. Here we have a brief news bit on that. $10 billion.
CBS nurse as she was speaking in Phoenix, Arizona, and we actually do have some breaking news related to this. Former President Donald Trump is suing CBS News for $10 billion over what he is claiming was deceitful doctoring of an interview with Harris. Now, Fox News Digital obtained the affidavit exclusively today, and I have it right here to read to you. I did want to read you a part of this. I'm also just going to pull up some of this quote here. As you can see, it says, this action concerns CBS's partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public, an attempt to tip the scales in favor of the Democratic Party as the heated 2024 presidential election, which President Trump is leading, that's what this says, they're claiming that, approaches its conclusion. Again, we are just getting this news in here, a Fox News Digital exclusive. Here's what we know right now. Trump attorneys said the complaint comes due to CBS's partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public. That was the verbiage that I just read to you, and you can see it on your screen from this lawsuit that we are reading right now. Trump attorneys are also arguing the edits were done in an effort to, quote, attempt to tip the scales in favor of the Democratic Party as the election approaches its conclusion. Now, this lawsuit comes after Trump's attorneys wrote letters to CBS News demanding the network release the full transcript of this 60 Minutes interview with Harris after it aired two different answers to the same question. Trump attorneys asked CBS to preserve all the documents and communications related to the interview pending a potential legal battle. Again, if you are just joining us.
Oh, yeah, the battle is on. Take them for all they're frickin' worth, and maybe even revoke their broadcast license. Yeah, that would be something else, right? Because what they did was absolutely deceptive. Here is Trump just 5 days ago talking about it, threatening it, but now we're seeing it come to fruition.
If you watch that interview, you would never want her as your president. She couldn't answer the simplest question. What's going to be the first thing you think about? What are you going to do? I grew up with a beautiful lawn. She said that in the debate, too, the same stuff. I had David Muir and that other one. I don't even know who the hell her name is. I don't want to know her name. Somebody said, oh, we'll get her name. So I said, I don't want to know her name. Why would I want to know her name? Just say, Madam, no name. But they were hitting me left and right. They're the worst. I'll tell you, actually, ABC might be the worst, but I think 60 Minutes has really topped it, though. 60 Minutes interviewed Kamala, and she was incapable of answering questions. And they took the main question, like one of the early, but a big question, they asked, and it was, I don't like the word salad. I mean, it's like stupid, but it was just a big jumble of words. It was just like rambling on, it didn't go anywhere. And, okay, they asked a question. They took it out, threw it away, and they put a brand new answer in that was a fake answer. Didn't even pertain to that question. And they got caught. Yep. And to me, it's the biggest scandal in broadcast history. It's election interference fraud. And 60 Minutes should be taken off the air. They should. And CBS should lose its license. You know, the government gives us license to NBC fake news, ABC fake news, and CBS fake news. They have to They have to pay. If they had to pay, they'd pay billions of dollars to get them for nothing. They pay nothing. They're public airways. They pay nothing. And you know what? The one thing is you have to be honest. And they were very dishonest. And ABC was very dishonest with David Muir when he just never asked her anything. Everything I answered, boom, they would criticize. And they were wrong on, I think, all of them. And all of her answers were wrong. They never questioned her.
We've got even more coming out from this. Let's see. Trump has filed a major lawsuit against CBS News, accusing them of interfering in the 2024 election by editing Kamala's 60-minute interview. Now, if you don't know what we're talking about, I believe we do have, here's the video.
Movements in.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
But it's
wow. I mean, such a clear-cut case of fraud. This is 60 Minutes, but this is the state of media today. They are out of control. I mean, this is really fake news. What you just saw is the definition of fake news, and that is why nobody trusts the media anymore. It's the very reason why I started this channel, was because I couldn't trust what they were saying, and I needed to go find out for myself and present to the American people and correct all the lies that we're seeing every single day. Insurrection Barbie, Trump announced he's suing CBS for $10 billion for deceptive doctoring of the interview. President Trump, here's another. I mean, he's not been holding back on this.
They took it. They changed Kamala's answer. They didn't edit. They took her entire, which showed she was crazy. They took it out, the entire paragraph, and it was a long, lots of, they say word salad. I don't like the term, actually, but they say word salad. It was just words, like rambling words, horrible. Yeah. So they take it out, and they put another statement that she made 2 pages later. They insert it, and nobody would have known the difference, and they got caught. They got caught.
Yeah, you've nailed CBS.
And I think it's the worst scandal. You know, it's one thing if they took even a sentence off, because they do that with me all the time, because I like to speak in long sentences, paragraphs, right? And if they take a sentence out, like in the middle, it really does screw it up. But think of this. They took the whole thing in, and they replaced it with a totally unrelated time and place, and they put it in. And that's the only one that we caught. And we want them to release the tapes now. So I think I'm going to sue them, actually.
Good. Go for it.
I think so. No, you know why? They can't defend it. And if they do, and even if they win, it's going to be very embarrassing. Oh, yeah. 60 Minutes, so I've done it many times. I did it with Mike Wallace. The best one I ever had was Mike Wallace, and he was the biggest killer. And, you know, Chris tries to be Mike, but you still have to have it.
Yeah, he's not cutting it.
He doesn't.
Oh, yes, the lawsuit is coming. Oh, yes, here it is. This is the big announcement now. This is when he made the announcement.
This is no good. No good. NBC is no good. They're no good. ABC is no good. CBS is no good. And in fact, in honor of you, I just sued CBS today because of 60 Minutes.
Suck it. Okay, well, we're going to get to RFK's remarks in a second here because, well, you know what? There's a reason that what you see on the news is fake. It's because they are kneeling before their advertisers. And RFK made this amazing statement in Arizona last night. A friend of mine was there. But here's a clip of what he said that he's going to advise Trump to do.
AIDS epidemic. I said I did 4 in 19 months, and your network never let me on a single time. You're only telling one side of the story. And you're the only thing you'll report about Donald Trump is propaganda to make people despise him. And, you know, one of the things I'm going to advise Donald Trump to do in order to correct the chronic disease epidemic is to ban pharmaceutical advertising on TV. There's only 2 countries in the world that allow pharmaceutical advertising on the airwaves. One of them is New Zealand and the other is us. And we have the highest disease rate and we buy more drugs and they're more expensive than anywhere in the world. Italy spends about 1/6 that we spend on.
Imagine that. You know, you see those commercials. It's like, take this happy pill, but it might just kill you, right? Like they show this young man or this old man. He's jogging through a through a park. Birds are chirping, beautiful music, right? And they have this narrator that's listing all of these symptoms and side effects of this pill. But the real reason that we need to ban pharmaceutical advertising from TV is because they're the ones that have their finger on the scale. And like all the stuff that we heard during COVID, all those news channels were pushing those narratives, brought to you by Pfizer, right? So it's time to get rid of those guys, get them out. And I would be so happy to see that. Let's see, we got some more to get to because this was, okay. So this is another huge story. Speaking of media manipulation, Donald Trump, he made some remarks. And here, let's listen to the full remarks, and then we're gonna play for you how the media spun this.
She's a radical, and I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter is a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person.
Okay, so that's the full context. The full context of the remarks. But now, like I showed you at the beginning here, they're saying that this is Donald Trump calling for Cheney's execution. The media is having a field day with this, taking him out of context like they always do. Okay? You ready for some of this? Brace yourselves.
And Liz Cheney, 4 days out from Election Day, and former President Donald Trump is escalating his violent rhetoric, suggesting one of his most prominent critics, the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, should be fired upon.
She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy.
Let's see how she feels when the guns are trained on her face. Let's sit with that for a moment. Of course, violent rhetoric. It's not new for Trump.
Wow.
But this stark imagery represents an
They are completely ignoring the full context of what he's saying.
At a tense moment when the country is on edge heading into Tuesday, with 7 in 10 Americans saying they feel anxious or frustrated about the election, according to a new AP poll. And it comes after Trump has raised the specter of using the U.S. military on Americans he calls the enemy within.
I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within. Not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of Election Day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. It should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
Oh, wait a minute. So is he talking about the radical leftists that were burning cities down during the summer of love, right? When they wouldn't even bring in the National Guard? Is that what he's referring to? No, but see, CNN wants to take it out of context again.
Throughout the last nearly 10 years, with Trump on the national stage, the public rhetoric has gotten darker and more violent with time.
The man that was I don't know, you say roughed up. He was so obnoxious and so loud. He was screaming. Maybe he should have been roughed up because it was absolutely disgusting what he was doing.
That was during Trump's first campaign. During his administration, he asked his national security team if he could shoot protesters.
Oh, did he?
He was speaking to General Mark Milley when he asked that question of, can't you just shoot him in the legs or something? And I was, shocked by it. To hear this from the President of the United States saying that we shoot our fellow Americans in the streets of the nation's capital.
That was Donald Trump's former defense secretary, Mark Esper. After Trump left office, he suggested the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley, should possibly be executed. Milley's phone call with the Chinese to reassure them in the wake of the January 6th riot was, quote, an act so egregious that in times gone by, the punishment would have been death, Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform. Then came his 2024 campaign after actual...
Okay, I've had enough of this woman. But, I mean, isn't it funny how they completely ignore this?
Of the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
This way. That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah. So, I mean, who's amping up the rhetoric? I mean, the rhetoric has been turned up by the Democrats to the point where they actually have pulled out guns on Donald Trump on multiple occasions in an attempt to take him out. Alex Pfeiffer, I'm sorry, but no one in the news media heard of criticizing Warhawks for not being in a war zone themselves? Are they dumb or malicious? Cassie Hunt, watch Donald Trump suggests Liz Cheney should be fired upon in an escalation of his violent rhetoric. Carl Quintanilla points out some of the news cycle headlines going into the final weekend. Trump suggests Warhawk Liz Cheney should have guns trained on her face. Politico, suggesting 9 barrels shooting at Cheney, Trump reverts to violent rhetoric. Shameful. CNN, Trump says Warhawk Liz Cheney should be fired upon in escalation of violent rhetoric against his opponents. Wall Street Journal, Trump calls Liz Cheney Warhawk, asks how she would feel with guns trained on her face. That's where we're at right now. Huh. taking him out of context. But thankfully, Donald Trump's fighting back against the fake news. But taking him out of context is nothing like we've seen it time and time again. But the fact that we have this from the Drudge Report is absolutely shameful. Here's more from CNN, launching a full-scale disinfo campaign to confuse voters just 4 days before the presidential election. The network is deceptively editing a comment Trump made during a campaign event in Arizona.
I don't think you even need to call it fired upon. He's saying quite explicitly and unambiguously that Liz Cheney should be shot, should be executed by firing squad.
4 days out from Election Day, and former President Donald Trump is
what he says,
going after someone who's completely inappropriate.
Donald Trump's
one of his most prominent critics, the former Congresswoman Liz Cheney, should be fired upon.
Your reaction to what Donald Trump said about Liz Cheney?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, it was completely inappropriate, dangerous, and unbecoming of a leader. Mr. Trump was literally going after someone who doesn't agree with him. So it shouldn't be a surprise when people come on TV and feel the need to agree with him.
Nine barrels. When he says 9 barrels shooting at her, that obviously evokes images of a firing squad. It evokes images of an execution.
Let's execute a political opponent who happens to be a woman because I don't like her. And like
a woman.
Does that pull more low propensity voters in his coalition to the polls? I honestly don't think so.
And I don't blame him for sticking with his daughter, but his daughter's a very dumb individual, very dumb. She's a radical war hawk. Let's put her with a rifle standing there with 9 barrels shooting at her, okay? Let's see how she feels about it. You know, when the guns are trained on her face. You know, they're all war hawks when they're sitting in Washington in a nice building saying, oh, gee, let's send 10,000 troops right into the mouth of the enemy. But she's a stupid person. And
yeah, so is, well, CNN thinks you're stupid. Thankfully, President Trump has just released this amazing ad. I'm going to play for you in a second. But Kelly Paul, who is Rand Paul's wife, she had this to say: "You are a shameless liar, Cassie." Trump was describing the hypocrisy of Liz Cheney's pro-war record when she would never know the terror of guns in her own face. Not surprised given your laughter when you reported on Rand's assault and injuries as your favorite story. Vile. Yes, these people are absolutely vile. This is extraordinarily irresponsible, made worse only by the fact that it's increasingly common across the political spectrum in the United States. Now, let's check out this new ad. President Trump just dropped this today.
free or greater.
Think about all they've done to Donald Trump. First, it was hoaxes, witch hunts, and impeachments. Then it was FBI raids, courtrooms, and mugshots. Finally, it was bullets in a Pennsylvania field. And after all that, this man stood up with blood draining down his face, pumped his fists in the air, and told us to fight. Fight. Fight.
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And we will make America great again.
We know what they think of us.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So if Donald Trump can get through all of that, we can get out to vote.
This is it, folks. This is the final battle. Get out and vote. Don't let any of this disinformation that's being spread right now about Donald Trump sway you in any way. These are the same old tired tactics we've seen time and time again, and they are worthless. They are venomous, evil, satanic people working against you and me and this great nation. And it is time that we all stand up. We We be louder than those who wish to cancel you. They have no power. We have power that has been given to us by the grace of God. We have been planted in this nation for such a time as this, and your voice and your vote matter now more than ever. So don't let anybody sway you. Don't let these lies sway you. You push back against them with truth. This is it. We're 4 days out. The nation needs you now. So when CNN's Cassie Hunt tries to spin Trump's Cheney moments as violent rhetoric, while CBS doctors Harris's interview, we're not seeing mistakes, we're seeing a pattern. As Rand Paul's wife, Kelly Paul, pointed out, these are shameless lies. And if Trump's lawsuit succeeds, it could force a return to real honest journalism. But here's what I want to know from you. What other examples of media twisting Trump's words have you witnessed? Share some of your findings in the comments below. And make sure you vote, vote, vote. Oh, man. That ad was tough. Okay, I saw some super chats come in. Let's address those real quick here. Let's see. We have Jim R. in the USA. He dropped a 1. Remember, if you voted early, drop a 1 in the chat room so everybody can know. And hopefully your vote will inspire others to get out. We are 4 days out, my friends. Stimulant dropped a 20 spot. Hi, Gary. This was on Rumble. Hi, Gary. Do you think we'll get a Battle of Athens type scenario on Tuesday? You know, I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. That was a wild event. I remember reading about it a long time ago. And the fact that that even happened in the United States is terrifying. But will it happen here? You know, when I actually ran into David Hogg when I was in New York, went up to him, took a selfie, and didn't tell him who I was. And then he started asking some questions. Why are you here? And I said, I'm here for the Trump rally. Immediately blowing my cover. And then I went on to tell him I have a news channel on YouTube. We've got 2.3 million followers. And I asked him if he'd want to join me on the show to have a conversation. He said, no. I said, well, I'll be gentle. He said, well, it's not about being gentle. And then he started picking my brain, started asking me about what I thought would happen in the election. And I said, David, all I want is for it to be fair and peaceful. That's all I want. And then I went on to address the neocons in the Republican Party, the war hawks, the countless billions of dollars that we've sent overseas to fund aggressions and conflicts that just get funneled back complex. It was an interesting conversation, to say the least. So will we see a Battle of Athens situation here? I certainly hope not, but the left is so unhinged that it would not surprise me. Look what they did after the 2016 election. I mean, they were setting cars on fire in the streets in Washington. They were having massive rallies calling for bombing the White House. I mean, Madonna saying these things. I mean, the left was completely unglued. And I mean, who can forget, again, the summer of love, the George Floyd riots. That was all over a police encounter. See, they don't want Trump to win at all costs. And that's why you're seeing these attacks that have been relentless. But he's winning every single step of the way. God's hand is on him. That's why we must pray for peace and pray for a peaceful transition. But the Democrats are not going to go peacefully into the good night, unfortunately. And any violence, any action that you might see, they're going to probably try to pin it on the MAGA people. Yeah. It was those guys with the red hats screaming it's MAGA country. You know, you're going to have Jussie Smollett situations breaking out all over the country. We got another super chat here. This is from Sean Richardson. I'm sorry, no, Real Jiffy. Let's go to Real Jiffy real quick here. Real Jiffy resident voted 3 days ago, and he dropped a 50 spot just to tell you that. God bless you, Real Jiffy. Sean Richardson dropped a 2 spot, $2 bill, and he says, Alabama, no early voting here. Thank you, American flag. Well, thank you, Sean. If you don't have early voting, make sure you get out and vote. And make sure, if you can, film your vote. And then we got the Italian Tornado. I love this guy. The Italian Tornado. Dropping a 5 spot on Super Chat. I voted for Trump. I hope he wins and is our next president. I hope so, too. All right. Got some more news to jump into right now. We got to get to the big Washington Post meltdown. All right. This was an amazing moment today. I couldn't believe what I saw, but it happened. And you're going to see the whole thing. The whole 4 minutes. All right. Every once in a while, you witness a moment that crystallizes everything wrong with modern journalism. Today, that moment came when Hugh Hewitt ripped off his earpiece and walked off the Washington Post live broadcast. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about one segment. This was about years of bias finally being exposed, with 250,000 subscribers canceling their subscriptions, and Trump's campaign filing an FEC complaint over illegal in-kind contributions to Harris. We are watching the collapse of a media empire in real time. You know, what has this WAPO meltdown, what it's teaching us? Well, it's the importance of having undeniable proof. And that's exactly why I tell everyone about CarVision X's revolutionary dashboard camera. Just like Hugh Hewitt exposed media bias in real time, this dash cam captures crystal clear evidence of what really happens on the road. No editing, no manipulation, just pure unfiltered truth in 4K Ultra HD. With 24/7 recording and night vision capability, you will never have to worry about your side of the story getting twisted. Get yours now at carvisionx.com with free shipping because, like journalism, driving needs accountability. So here is the moment that just went viral today. Elon Musk even tweeting it out. Hugh Hewitt is right. There was election interference by the Democrats in Bucks County that was so serious that a judge ordered early voting to be extended several more days. Ian Miles Chong, he writes, and there's the clip, the Washington Post is completely falling apart. Hugh Hewitt got fed up of the lies and disinformation being put out by his fellow journalists about Trump and walked out. You ready for this? Let's watch.
This election, is it me or does it seem like this week Donald Trump is laying the groundwork for contesting the election by complaining that cheating was taking place in Pennsylvania by suing Bucks County for alleged irregularities? And this is on top of his continual assertion that if he loses, it's because of cheating.
Yeah, he's been laying the groundwork for this, just not in the last week, but in the last umpty-ump months. No election can be fair in Donald Trump's mind, unless Donald Trump wins it. And I think we are going to see him both rev up his supporters to contest elections outside of courtrooms and go to every courtroom he can in America where it's relevant to make whatever arguments he can, no matter how far-fetched. We saw
Jonathan,
that
I've
work
got
out last time, but it didn't work out this time. It may not work. That may not happen this time. And now I'll let you go, Hugh.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't.
I won't come back, Jonathan. I'm done. I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
I mean, at least he was wearing pants, right?
So, Ruth, you wrote a column this week ending with this line, and actually, I think this is perfect. We're going to put it on the screen. You wrote,
"This is where it all falls apart.
You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." Talk more about that, Ruth.
Okay, I'm collecting myself.
Oh, Ruth froze. Ruth is frozen. So hang in there, everyone. We're going to see if we can try to get Ruth back to this very. We're going to get Ruth back in a moment. This is First Look, Washington Post Live's nonstop shop for news and analysis, and Ruth is back. So I'm going to read that quote back again from your column, Ruth, where you wrote, "You want to know the stakes of this election? Not only democracy, but decency." We lost her again. Everybody, if you've been watching First Look, you know that these conversations can be interesting, contentious. You just saw Hugh Hewitt leave the conversation, which is lamentable, unfortunate. It is what it is.
Isn't it?
I am Jonathan Capehart. I want to thank you all very much for joining us on First Look. For more of these important conversations, please sign up for a Washington Post subscription. And get a free trial by going to WashingtonPost.com/live. Again,
because they're hemorrhaging subscriptions, he's got to beg for them.
WashingtonPost.com/live. I'm Jonathan Capehart. Thank you for watching Washington Post Live's First Look.
Yeah, first look at your collapse. Oh, yeah, it was a bad look at the Washington Post. We're learning now, just in, Hugh Hewitt quits Washington Post after epic viral moment, storming off the show with biased Never Trump pundits. "I won't come back. I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I've ever been a part of." Benny Johnson says, "This is gangster." Hugh Hewitt rips his earpiece out, walks off the set live on air while calling the Washington Post an election ad for Kamala. He was enraged that the segment did not fairly report on Trump's election integrity victories. Then the entire broadcast implodes. Yes, Laura Ingraham, good for him. He doesn't want to work for the DNC. Hugh Hewitt resigns from the Washington Post after storming out, according to Politico. And we've got some more from this. Let's see. Look at this picture. This is the moment that they're like, their faces, when told the truth, and they couldn't come back with an answer. They were dead silent. Hugh Hewitt threw the truth right in their face, that they were omitting key points of the argument, and they got called out, fact-checked in real time, and Hugh's like, to hell with you guys, I am out. But, see, the Washington Post is in some real big trouble. They have just lost 250,000 subscribers over the decision not to endorse Kamala Harris. That's right, more than 250,000 Washington Post readers, or 10% of the newspaper's customer base, have canceled their subscription after owner Jeff Bezos blocked the endorsement. Oh, and they were livid. Here's some reaction from Robert Kagan, a former WAPO editor, resigning because they've decided not to endorse.
Anticipation of his.
So you made this decision to resign. Tell me what
how you came to that decision, what got you over the line?
Well, it was a pretty easy decision. This is obviously an effort by Jeff Bezos to curry favor with Donald Trump in the anticipation of his possible victory. Trump has threatened to go after Bezos's business. Bezos runs one of the largest companies in America. They have tremendously intricate relations with the federal government. They depend on the federal government. And Trump has made it clear that he will attack media organizations that are critical of him. He's threatened to take away CBS's license. And this is clearly an effort by Bezos to try to get on Trump's good side in advance of his presidency.
That's a good, what does he say? Get on his good side in advance of his presidency. He knows Trump's going to win. Bezos knows Trump's going to win. So they're all trying to shore up their support quietly for Donald Trump. Even the head of Google, Alphabet, called Donald Trump.
If we want to know how Trump is going to stifle the free press in the United States, this is the answer. This is how it's going to happen, especially when the media is owned by corporate titans who have a lot to lose if Trump is angry at them.
Well, maybe it's also because Bezos and Musk, they've always been butting heads with their space programs, and now Elon Musk owns X and Bezos owns the Washington Post. I mean, Musk owns the most powerful media platform in the world, and he's doing the right thing with it. Bezos sees it and goes, man, that was a good move, Elon. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't take a side this time. Maybe I should just play it by the middle. And now they're hemorrhaging subscribers at the Washington Post, and people are resigning in droves. Here we have more. I apologize for the blurry screen there. We're having some bandwidth issues. It says here on the screen, pure poor fascism has arrived in the media of the U.S. Writers at LA Times and Washington Post resign after owners block Kamala Harris endorsement. Wow. So LA Times, they are leaving there. Now, listen to what J.D. Vance had to say with Joe Rogan about the Washington Post.
The Washington Post might as well be a propaganda outlet of the Democratic Party. If you look from the Hunter Biden laptop to any number of stories where they just toe the left-wing line almost instinctively, the problem was with the journalism at the Washington Post. It's not with the editorials. I don't care, frankly, whether the editorial page endorses Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. I care about whether the journalists are lying about Donald Trump or lying about Kamala Harris. And frankly, they're lying a lot in the negative direction about my running mate, and they're lying a lot in the positive direction about Kamala Harris. So what I would like to see from Jeff Bezos is a commitment to the Washington Post not just being a Democrat super PAC. I don't give a shit if he hires a few more conservative columnists. It doesn't matter. What matters is, do they hold their journalism to anything like a high standard? And if they don't do that, then to me, it's just window dressing.
And then we have this. Oh, this is good news. Breaking. Trump-Vance campaign files FEC complaint alleging illegal in-kind support for Kamala from the Washington Post. I have always said this. When you have mega search engines who are manipulating search results, hiding information from you, lifting up so-called authoritative voices, and then you have the YouTube searches, which are manipulated, and then you have the get out the vote reminders that are sent out disproportionately to Democrats and Republicans, swaying the vote, as Dr. Robert Epstein has clearly shown through his investigation. These are all in-kind donations. And at least now an FEC complaint has been filed, not by some think tank or some group, but by the Trump-Vance campaign. Now that's got some teeth. I mean, how many times have we heard about FEC complaints and then we report on them and we never hear anything happen? I think we're going to hear more from this. The Trump-Vance team claims WAPO is providing illegal in-kind contributions by running pro-Kamala anti-Trump ads in a last-minute push for Harris. They call it a backdoor endorsement, claiming WAPO hides behind democracy dies in darkness while secretly pushing Kamala's campaign. Stay tuned as the media swamp gets drained. This is huge. What else have we got for you here? Let's see. We've got, this Arizona Democrat ballot firm named in Pennsylvania election fraud. This is a big deal. This came out about 19 hours ago. The firm being investigated for fraud in Pennsylvania is a massive Democrat ballot harvesting firm in Arizona. Mike Mancuso, the district attorney there, says last week, following a regular review of voter registration mail-in ballot request forms received in its office, the Monroe County Board of Elections identified approximately 30 irregular forms. Those forms were segregated, and the matter referred to the Monroe County District Attorney for investigation. Since then, the office district attorney has been investigating the referral by Monroe County Board of Elections. Several of the voter registration applications and mail-in ballot request forms have been found to be fraudulent, as they were not authorized by the persons named as applicants. In at least one example, the named applicant is in fact deceased. To date, several of the fraudulent voter registration forms have been traced to a specific person. A company calling itself Field and Media Corps, a subsidiary of Field Corps, an Arizona-based organization working out of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, in turn was responsible for submitting the forms in question to county officials. So, a group out of Arizona working in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and the forms trace back to dead people registering to vote. Man, it's just like, Chicago, all the dead people are voting. My Lord. A broader investigation continues with reference to Field Corps' involvement. Our office is in regular contact and working with investigation from the Attorney General's office as well as others. A further update will be made in a day or so. Anyone with information pertinent to the matter should contact District Attorney Detective Thomas McMahon. His number is 570-517-3025. So you can scroll it back if you want to find out that, if you want to get that number once again, if you see anything fishy in that area. Continuing here, this is the turnout of Trump's voters in Bucks County. This is what Hugh Hewitt was talking about. Early voters are now lined up around the block in Doylestown. Shout out to the GOP for winning their lawsuit and getting the deadline for early voting extended until 5 p.m. in Bucks County. Look at all these people. Look at all these people going out to vote. These people would not be able to vote if that case didn't go through, if the GOP didn't push to have the extension. But thankfully, their voices and their vote will be heard. But of course, the Washington Post, they want to spin the truth. They don't want to give you the full story, and that was enough to make Hugh Hewitt rip his earpiece out and walk off and quit the Washington Post. In one sense, I go, Hugh, sometimes you need to have a counterbalance over there at the Washington Post. Your voice needs to be there because maybe there's some people who are watching, maybe the 5 people who are watching that feed are going, maybe one of them will hear the truth from you. But sometimes, it just gets so fed up, you got to get up and leave. And Hugh Hewitt is a powerful voice, and I am so thankful that he did get up. And he embarrassed those freaks, and this is going viral because everyone needs to see it. The bias at the Washington Post that now the Trump campaign itself is filing Federal Election Commission's violations against them because of their in-kind contributions for their reporting. Just as the Washington Post refuses to endorse Jeff Bezos, saying, nope, I'm not going to do it. Washington Post people are resigning in droves over it. You are witnessing the collapse of the Washington Post in real time. That's what it's all about, folks. It's about telling the truth, getting the truth out there. And then we have this powerful ad that was just dropped from the Trump campaign today.
About all they've done. Think about all they've done to Donald Trump. First, it was hoaxes, witch hunts, and impeachments. Then it was FBI raids, courtrooms, and mugshots. Finally, it was bullets in a Pennsylvania field. And after all that, this man stood up with blood draining down his face, pumped his fists in the air, and told us to fight. Fight. Fight.
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And we will make America great again.
We know what they think of us.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So if Donald Trump can get through all of that, we can get out to vote.
This is it, friends. This is the last weekend before history is made. You're the one that's going to make it. The time is now. We all must rise up. So from Robert Kagan's resignation to Hewitt's dramatic exit, the Washington Post's credibility is in free fall. When a newspaper loses 250,000 subscribers after refusing to endorse Harris, it tells you everything about who's really pulling the strings. But here's what I want to know from you. When did you first notice the Post shift from journalism to activism? Share your unsubscribe moment in the comments below. All right, looks like we have another super chat that came in from the Mountain Goddess. We want to give props to her. And she said, California here, dropping a 20 spot. Wow. I voted. Just wanted to thank you and your staff for all of your hard work and efforts for reporting truth and getting it out there to the masses. Much love and happiness to you. It's been a very long and very trying election. The most trying I've ever covered in my life. I've been covering elections from a news capacity. I mean, going back to pretty much the Ron Paul revolution back in 2008. I have been tracking elections, following stuff. You know, I wasn't politically active, but I was aware of conservatism way back during the Bush years. And I remember going to vote for George Bush back then. And I saw this guy named Michael Badnarik. He was on the ballot, and it said Libertarian Party. I'm like, who is that guy? Little did I know that years later, I would get to meet him, interview him, and become his friend. Because liberty is on the ballot, friends. It's always on the ballot. He's got to know where to find it. And Donald Trump is going to bring that liberty back to this country. He's going to make America great again. And you have the opportunity to be a part of history. Remember, if you voted already, hit that one. Share the fact that you voted in the chat room. Let everybody know you are proud of it. And hopefully your number one in the chat will inspire others to go out and vote early. Okay, let's get back into our third and final topic. This is where it gets crazy. This is where we are going to talk about the police who are blocking people. We've also got new information on those helicopters over Washington, D.C. Remember that? We've been covering it, tracking it. Well, there's new information that's kind of changing the narrative. So let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to show you should send chills down your spine. We have videos, multiple videos of voting machines across Kentucky and Arkansas mysteriously switching votes from Trump to Harris. We have election workers refusing to check IDs even when signatures don't match. But that is just the surface. Yes, police are cutting voting lines short of the time that they're allowed to. And now we've got Speaker Mike Johnson even uncovering something more sinister. Evidence that foreign money from China, Iran, Russia, and Venezuela is now being funneled through, can you guess where? ActBlue. Yeah, right into the Democrat campaigns. Talk about foreign influence. The pieces are all starting to fit together. And you know what witnessing election fraud reminds me of? It's like what Chuck Norris always says about staying vigilant. At 83, he's still sharp as a tack, watching for threats others miss. How? Well, he discovered a simple change that keeps his mind and body ready for action. Just like we need every American watching their polling stations, Chuck has been watching out for your health. He's sharing his secret to staying strong and alert in a special video. You want to know what keeps a legend fighting fit? Visit chuckdefense.com/next now, because in times like these, we all need to stay strong and vigilant. Okay, we begin this segment right before we went live. I always like to check the feed to see what's happening. And lo and behold, I see Ivory Hecker, the woman who used to work here on this channel. And she's gone on to do some amazing things. I think she's working with One America News now. And she just posted that her mail-in ballot is missing. And she's asking how many people this has happened to. And then she decides to make a phone call.
Your application has not been received.
Do you at least have the email version of my application?
No, ma'am.
Okay, but you guys had said if I dropped it in the mail on the 23rd that I would be able to get a mail-in ballot.
Yes, with the application.
So what am I doing wrong?
Well, you're not doing anything wrong. It's the Postal Service has not delivered your application in order for you to get the ballot.
So is there a chance it'll still show up and I'll still get a ballot?
Even if it did show up, there's not even time enough for us to get you a ballot. Today is the 31st.
Wow.
So do I just not get to vote then?
Oh.
Ma'am, if your ballot got here today, we would still not be able to send you out a ballot.
Oh, boy.
If your application came in today.
But it was official election mail that was supposed to be prioritized by USPS, right?
Wow.
No, it's not prioritized by USPS. Not unless you did it, because we don't. Your application came in today.
But it was official election mail.
That's just one case. Ivory Hecker documenting her own story. Mancow Mueller posting that he's planning on taking out the trash on Tuesday. Don't tread on me. Loving the memes coming out of this. Before we get into the police stuff, this is about those helicopters we've been reporting on. Now, a day ago, U.S. Civil Defense News reports an update. The Blackhawks doing emergency evacuation drills last night at the Capitol is a way bigger deal than everyone may have thought. D.C. preparing to enact martial law on November 6th. And here you can see the helicopters in Washington, D.C. doing executive evacuations.
So I want to get a picture with the Capitol Dome in the background. Let's see if I can get it.
Those look like Apaches.
That's Maryland State Police. Part of the exercise.
Fairfax 1, Fairfax, Virginia Police. These are actual military evacuation drills at the U.S. Capitol. He's alleging this is for martial law on November 6th. So over 3 minutes of video of this operation. Is that the Federal Reserve? It's a Black Hawk helicopter. Can you imagine? Look at that shot. A Black Hawk helicopter heading right for the Capitol building, landing right on the lawn for an emergency evacuation. One right over his head! Oh my goodness. It's getting rotor wash. Wow. I haven't seen this footage yet. I've seen clips, but I haven't seen anything this long. Absolutely dramatic. Terrifying at the same time. Military evacuation drills taking place in Washington, D.C. And according to U.S. Civil Defense News, the Black Hawks doing these emergency drills is a way bigger deal than anyone may have thought. Preparing to enact martial law on November 6th. I have said this, and I pray to God that we have a peaceful transition, we have a peaceful election, we have a fair election, but everything I'm seeing so far is it's not been fair. And that's why we need to get out, we need to be bigger than the rig. Okay? Do you guys know who Brian Krasenstein is? He's probably one of the most notorious trolls on X on the left. He's a paid operative for the DNC. He's been caught on camera bragging about getting paid. Well, now apparently he's bragging he's an officially part of the election integrity community on X. He says, beware that lying about elections on social media can be considered a crime. Well, maybe you should be worried about the lies you spew, Brian. If false claims are made with the intent to mislead voters about when, where, or how to vote, such as telling people the wrong election day, providing fake polling locations, or falsely claiming eligibility restrictions, it can be considered illegal voter suppression or interference. Oh, so are you going to go after Jimmy Kimmel, Brian? Are you going to go after Jimmy Kimmel for what he said on his show that got posted on X? You better get on it, Brian. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel wanted his show. Do you guys see this? I'm not going to play the clip, but Jimmy Kimmel went on and lied to his millions of viewers, if he still has millions of viewers, and told them that if you're going to vote for Trump, you should vote later. That's what Jimmy Kimmel said. And I'm not declaring this. I'm providing context to what somebody said. I'm not declaring when you should vote. I just want to be clear for all the YouTube minders and people like to take things out of context, people like Brian Krasenstein. So is Jimmy Kimmel making these claims? So maybe Brian Krasenstein should take care of some business. Let's go take a look here. This is 3 hours ago. Happening now in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Voters have been waiting, you ready for this? 6.5 hours in line to cast their ballot. 6.5 hours. This young man is on the ground in Levittown, Pennsylvania. The line wraps around the library. According to voters, there are only 2 employees inside processing voters. Seems like a suppression tactic, if you ask me.
How long have you guys been waiting? What's up, you guys? Diligent Denizen here. I am here in Levittown at the voting center at the library, where this line is wrapped around the building and barely moving at all. Now, the staff hasn't, as far as I know, the staff hasn't told anybody that they had to leave or try any shenanigans like that. They are just taking their sweet time. This line is long. And this line is long. How long have you guys been waiting?
Oh, about 3 hours.
3 hours?
Die hard.
3 hours. How long have you guys been waiting?
If you ask me, this is definitely a suppression tactic, an exhaustion tactic. You make the lines really long. People eventually give up. They have to go somewhere. They've got appointments. They've got to pick up the kids from school. They got to make dinner. They can't sit in line for 6 hours. So they surrender. But these folks are sticking it out. 6 hours. Look at all the people.
Look, they have chairs out for people. That's how long they've been waiting. How long have you guys been waiting? How long have you been waiting? You got here 12? 4 hours. 4 hours. Pizza, drinks.
Oh my goodness.
6 hours. 6.5 hours. Don't leave the line. Hold the line.
Hold the line. Hold the line, brothers. Hold the line, brothers. Turn it into a tailgate party if you have to. Make sure you do it. That was Diligent Denizen. Follow him on X. I follow him there. Everyone says, thank you for being there. This is election rigging, not allowing voters to vote is obvious. It's suppression. Thanks for being on the ground and reporting this. Wow, it's outrageous. So that's just one location. You want to see the police? I'm going to get to that in a second. Breaking news. This is huge. This just broke. This post came out October 24th. However, it is now official today. So on October 24th, Speaker Mike Johnson said there's now more evidence that illicit overseas donors are using the corrupt Democrat donor platform ActBlue to exploit campaign finance loopholes and make donations in the names of people without their knowledge. These are fraudulent and illegal practices that cannot be tolerated. An investigation is being led by our House Administration Committee. Speaker Johnson shares website to check for fraudulent donations. Okay? Subpoenas are now going out. Speaker of the U.S. Congress, Mike Johnson, investigation is being led by the House Admin Committee. Corrupt ActBlue and Wells Fargo are criminally laundering money into liberal political campaigns. More details in my tweets from Peter Bernegger. Speaker Mike Johnson. Okay, this actually just came out, and here is John Solomon breaking the news. Listen to this.
His concerns. I just talked to Speaker Mike Johnson a little bit ago. A story's going to be going up a little bit in Just the News. Speaker Johnson on the record says he has serious concerns that China, Iran, Russia, and Venezuela have moved money to Democrats, have laundered money to Democrats, possibly through ActBlue and other online fundraising mechanisms. He says that this is about to become a major scandal, may not break until after the election. That's when all the evidence will be assembled. But he's putting everybody on notice that this could be a major political scandal. Cheating. And when you get more money than the other side because you cheated, it is potentially a very serious matter. Mike Johnson's words, very strong, very specific. He's usually very careful, so he's hanging out on a limb. He knows something we don't know. He also said that if they find any of these countries, there will be serious penalties imposed by Congress if it is proven they have been interfering in the election by laundering money to Democrats.
Serious penalties imposed by Congress. How about criminal charges? Can we finally see somebody go to jail over this stuff? And not just, President Trump being threatened with bogus charges. These are real charges, money laundering to influence an election. And you know how they're doing it, right? They take these huge sums of money from Chinese billionaires or European billionaires or Iranian or wherever they're coming from. And then they funnel it into small donations that are below the threshold of reporting by the Federal Election Commission. That way, they can launder the money, they can take millions of dollars, break it up, and then they spread it out across all these unknown people. So if you've gone and made a donation to ActBlue, maybe you have in your past, maybe when you were a Democrat you did, and you donated $5 because you want to help that little congressional campaign. Well, guess what? They have your information. Oh, but you haven't donated in 5 years? Well, guess what? Now they have a record of that donor. It's a stale donor. Hasn't donated in 5 years. Not likely this person's going to go ahead and donate again. Maybe they passed away. Maybe they moved. Perfect candidate. So we'll just drop $25,000 in donations, split up across 200 donations below the threshold. But all that money comes from overseas, and then they can make it. They can inflate the look. Oh, look at how much grassroots support Kamala has. She got $1 billion, but it's all from overseas illegal money. At least finally, there's a real investigation. Now, this all was actually broke because James O'Keefe had people going out and looking into it. James O'Keefe is an American hero for this investigation. It's now going all the way up to Mike Johnson, and we might have some accountability. But accountability, in my opinion, is only when these people go to frickin' jail. Okay? Enough of this patty cake bullshit. It's time to hold these people accountable. It's time for justice to truly be served. I mean, they put Bannon in jail because he wasn't going to cooperate with the corrupt swamp. He told him pound sand. He did time, he came out, and now he's back kicking ass. Okay? They put Bannon in prison. It's time to put some real criminals in prison. Oh, but it gets worse. We're just days away from this election, and it just keeps getting crazier. Here we have 13 hours ago, more election workers refusing to take ID when voting. Americans try to give ID to the worker and say, I'm not allowed to look at that. Confirmed, even if signatures don't match, they say they still won't check ID. Watch this.
You see one of these young ladies over here. You got to go to...
Hello, how are you?
Last week. Oh, okay. I'm not allowed to look at that unless it says so illegally.
Oh, I gotta check it.
It's so not right.
That's a nice pearl coat. Everything looks good. You can pick one of any stylus.
That's just crazy. It's absolutely insane.
The other way.
So now I'm gonna sign that, say that my signature doesn't match, but they're still not gonna check it.
They're still not going to check your ID.
Me.
That's crazy.
They aren't even checking to see if the signature matches her ID.
The better part is that not only did they not ask for my ID, when my signature didn't match what they had on file, they asked me just to sign a piece of paper that it's me. They did not ask for my identification.
And there you have, that's a corrupt system. That's corruption to the core. New York needs voter IDs because you could go in, and my father's been dead since 2019, without any ID and cast another vote. And that's disgraceful to every soldier who died for this Constitution.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So that was another instance. Oh, I've got more, friends. It doesn't stop. Here we have the Indiana Department of Transportation removing Trump signs and reportedly leaving Kamala Harris signs alone. Is this considered election interference? These are people who are on the government payroll.
Only political signs that they've been picking up are the Trump ones. Indiana Department of Transportation. Look at that. Look at that. Look, he told them to take it up.
Wow.
Those are the only political signs that we've seen them take. We've been behind them for a half hour. Only political signs that they've been picking up are the Trump ones.
Yeah, election interference? I think so. Here's another one. This guy was posted 6 hours ago before committing treason by being involved with election fraud or interference. Know what the punishment is. Everything is being watched. Think you are stupid. Don't be stupid. This guy apparently committing a misdemeanor, caught removing Donald Trump signs in Chicago. Not really a surprise. Yeah, I'm sure he looks like overly fed soy boy. Just posted this man removing Donald Trump signs in Chicago. You have just committed a crime. You're being recorded. It's a misdemeanor in the state of Illinois to remove a campaign sign from a public lawway, punishable 12 months in jail. The fine is $2,500 or a year in jail or both. But yeah, in Chicago, they don't care. Chicago is the dead voter capital of the world. Speaking of signs, we've got this. No, this is not red Missouri. This is blue Brooklyn, New York on the expressway. Look at all those Trump signs lining the streets. That's a beautiful sight to see. I could like to see New York Department of Transportation out there taking all those down. They'll spend all day doing that. We played this for you yesterday, but it bears repeating. We found the actual person who posted the video. Dawn Liz Army. This is in Kentucky. I took this video. It was my vote. I tried to pick Trump 10 times. It would not work, so I began recording and kept trying. I went to the head of the election board, and we'll send this video to the Kentucky Attorney General. Look at that. Kamala Harris had picked. Trying to pick Donald Trump. Look at that. Won't do it. Look at that. It picked Kamala Harris. That's what's going on, folks. That is what is going on. And they are flipping the votes in real time. You saw it. Okay, come at me. Come at me. Am I spreading election misinformation, or am I showing a freaking voting booth where the shit is being flipped in real time? That's not election misinformation. That's election truth we are sharing with the American people, so suck it. Sorry, I get a little emotional here. And the paper card was rejected. Oh, but don't worry. Jamie Raskin says, let people vote for Donald Trump if they want. We're not going to certify the election anyway. So he may be elected, but we're not going to let him be inaugurated. Yeah. These are the threats to democracy. These are the tyrants. These are the authoritarians. Don't let them win. Practice your vote, record your vote, and report any irregularities. Arizona judge just ruled that the Democrat Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes, must immediately release the list of nearly 100,000 voters whom officials marked as U.S. citizens when they hadn't provided documentary proof. 100,000. They were marked as U.S. citizens, but they didn't prove it. The court finds specifically that the secretary is not established by a preponderance of the evidence, that production of the records would violate rights of privacy or confidentiality, or would be detrimental to the best interests of the state. Judge Scott Blaney required them to do this by noon Monday, the eve of the election. The Secretary of State and DMV failed to follow the law in verifying the citizenship status of well over 200,000 voters. So he's allowing patriots to do the Secretary of State and GOP's job for them. Secretary of State refusing to release. Oh, don't worry. They said they were. We weren't sure. They didn't prove it. I mean, 100,000, 200,000 votes? Yeah. Seems like a pretty big freaking deal to me. Oh! People ripping off signs. Votes getting flipped. Huh. Huge win. They won a lawsuit against AZ Secretary of State for illegally withholding the list. 218,000 registered voters who did not provide proof of citizenship. He must produce his complete list of these voters by Monday before Election Day. That was America First legal. Big deal. A judge orders Arizona to release a list of registered voters with unverified citizenship so they can purge the rolls. If you are not an American citizen, it is illegal to vote. We don't want you to commit a crime. Democrats wouldn't care, but we don't want you to commit a crime. We don't want you to become a felon. It's for your own good. Here we have another one. It's this is it. Isn't it concerning? Democrats can wear these badges and act like election officials, turning away voters in Pennsylvania. Watch this woman. She goes, oh, talk to the guy over there with the shiny badge and the gun. No, you can't vote. Talk to this guy. Ready? Watch this.
Process. I have a question. I have to bring someone here about 4.
You know what, Brian? Go vertical with this, please. We got to show the whole thing. Here we go.
I have a question. I have to bring someone here about 4 o'clock to vote. Are they
I'm
gonna?
going to ask you to talk to this.
Are they gonna turn everyone down?
I'm going to ask you to talk to this gentleman because the voting is closed right now.
It's closed.
I just want you to talk to this gentleman.
We have the right to vote until 4:30.
I get you. Here's
Why
what
is it
happened.
closed?
Let me explain it to you.
Please.
Okay. This process is very slow and grueling.
That doesn't matter if we're online.
Very slow and grueling.
Doesn't
All right.
matter if we're online by 4:30. We have the right to
why
vote.
it had to close was because a high volume of people wanted to do this, slow and grueling.
Well, then they
So
have to wait till everyone's.
They had to cut the line at 1:45.
They cut the line at 1:45.
1:45.
You hear that, everyone? They cut the line at 1:45.
Here's your. here's
This
the form
is
right
voter fraud, by the way. Who?
No, it's
who are
not.
You? Yes, it is. Oh, voter protection. I heard about that on X. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Contact
Voter protection. Let's see what
Contact
that's
the county commissioners to complain.
This is, and so you don't think this is voter fraud? This is voter fraud. See that, everyone? They cut the line, even though we have till 4:30. Election fraud here in Bucks County. Contact.
Yeah, so Grimace here, she probably has like 6 cats at home.
Election fraud here in Bucks County. And you have an oath. I mean, don't you care? I mean, like, really? This is ridiculous. They're not accepting anyone else.
Oh, did they cut off for today?
They cut it off because of election fraud. That's why they cut it off.
That's incorrect. It's actually posted online that they can cut it off.
No, it's election fraud.
It's not.
It's
but
election
okay.
fraud. What are you voting for the left? It's election fraud. They're open till 4:30. Everyone in the line has the right to vote until 4:30.
On election day.
No, this is election day.
I got it videotaped.
This is ridiculous. I just got a video. I have a question. I have to bring.
Yeah. Look at these people with their shiny voter protection badges.
Everyone down.
I'm gonna.
Brian, go horizontal on this. Looks like we've got an update on the voter protection official. Let's see what this is. Here she is. Here's Grimace with her 6 cats at home. They're starving, waiting for her to go home and feed them. In case anyone was wondering, the voter protection official telling everyone they can't vote is Democrat official Pam Janvey. She works for the Pennsylvania Democrats, PA Dems, not legal poll watchers. Paid for by the Pennsylvania Democrat Party and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. PA Dems/org is not acceptable for outside organizations to interfere in our elections. Is not an appointed poll watcher. Here she is. There she is. Now she has been identified. People are frustrated over the long lines and early cutoffs in person. Here's Grimace taking a break.
Because I see your. Do you have a certificate to be a poll watcher?
I don't have to answer you, and you may leave.
No, this is a public place. I don't have to. Because I see your tag, and
you don't have the right to talk to me. So
this is America and a public place, so I have every right to talk to you.
And you have a right to lie.
So, are you a poll watcher?
I am here for early vote monitoring.
For early vote monitoring. Oh,
different.
Early vote monitoring. Early vote monitoring.
Oh, she's getting out of her seat, boys. Oh!
This is public.
I don't give a damn.
Do you know the law?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do? So
yeah!
you know that I'm allowed to videotape you in public?
No, you don't have.
Yeah, you can, bitch!
This is public.
I have told you, you do
This
not.
is public.
First Amendment. Thank you.
Do you have a certificate to
Oh,
be
man.
a poll watcher?
I don't have to answer you, and
Yeah. Oh, on-demand mail-in voting. This looks like a document from mail-in. I'm not sure what this is. People are frustrated over the long lines and early cutoffs. Women like this childless cat lady. She is assisting. We have another one here. American Papa Bear. It's happening again, this time in Arkansas. Voter pushes Donald Trump on voting machine and selects Kamala Harris. This is election interference. Share this out and keep exposing them. Okay, let's watch, Brian. I think we need to go vertical with this.
You automatically do it. Wait, you automatically do it. Okay.
Did you push right there? Or did
Yes,
you push right
I
there?
pushed right there.
Brian, go horizontal so we can see better.
Wait, you automatically do it. Okay.
Did you push right there? Or did you
Yes,
push right
I
there?
pushed right there.
Okay, so selecting Donald Trump. Let's watch this one more time. Pay attention. They press Donald Trump. And look at it!
Wait, you automatically do it. Okay.
Wow.
Did you push right there? Or did you
Yes,
push right
I
there?
pushed right there.
Oh, man. So that's taking place in Arkansas. Oh, and did you see this? Oh, check this out. Oh, get ready for this. This, your blood's going to boil. Election of fraud officials on video filling out ballots on behalf of your overthrown government. Watch this. I think we need to go vertical, Brian.
Campaign, quote, election officials are intentionally refusing to allow representatives and poll what?
I'm going to send it to Bill.
This lady is marking the ballots. I filmed her a half hour ago doing 6, and she's still working at it. Let's stamp it, received, and let's fill in our 6 blanks.
My goodness.
All at the top of the tickets on each one. 1, 2, 3, 4,
wow.
5.
As security walks by.
6. And there's a security guard right there who's watching
Wow.
her. The cops are in on it. Disgusting.
Marking ballots. Why would you be marking ballots?
Intentionally refusing to allow.
Oh, wow. Do we know where this took place? These Democrats are so stupid. All the real ballots are marked. They know which ones are real, which ones are not. People need to listen to what Donald Trump says in his rallies. You get the message. Read between the lines. Apparently someone says this is a 2020 video. Could this be during 2020? Masks everywhere? Perhaps. But do you remember the video we showed you yesterday? They were demanding you wear masks inside if you want to watch because of a so-called COVID outbreak. So this is the latest coming out of... oh, wait, we have more. This is New Jersey.
It doesn't work.
Questions, the election board's right next door.
Thank you.
Ballot not read after voting for Trump.
It doesn't work.
I see what happened, but yeah, you have to personally tell them you want them off the mail ballot. But we can, yeah.
Not red.
We're pulling this out.
Right.
This is the canister. It goes in. We're opening this and taking your ballot, sir.
Okay.
Keep your eye on me. Okay?
These machines
Right. Now it's going where?
Now it's going in here.
That's the deposit box for my ballot. So it's not electronically. It's not electronically totaled.
Not that I know of, but I'm a labor.
How do I know it's being counted
Well, let's get
in
this
that box?
right. It's in here
Right.
with everybody else that voted in this machine. This is return. This is locked, and this is sealed.
Sealed.
But if did it read it?
Yes, there's print, as long as it was a print on that card and not blank, and everything you picked is on that card. Whoever you picked.
It will be read
Okay.
after 8 p.m.
Okay.
the night of the election.
Hand read, I guess.
No, computer.
The computer
They
read?
take all them cards, they put them in a computer. Can we stand outside?
Yeah.
Do you have a blue screen?
Yes, it's blue.
Yeah, it's building.
All right. How come there was a problem with it?
They jam occasionally. They jam occasionally. Paper.
This happens frequently?
No.
Okay. Can you help this gentleman out?
Okay.
I can't take this anymore. This is what's happening. So here we are. If you see something, Brian, go horizontal. This is a very important piece of information that you need to know. Real-time monitoring. See something, say something. Keep this number handy. Write this number down immediately. 866-888-2024. 866-888-2024. 24/7 report election incidents. This goes to Mike Lindell's team and True the Vote, actively partnering to track and monitor election incidents in real time, working together to help safeguard our elections. Get involved. Report incidents. Use your voice. Empowered provides law enforcement, candidates, political parties, attorneys, election officials, and citizens with essential data for action. Immediate reporting. Voters, poll watchers, poll challengers, and poll workers can instantly report and organize election anomalies. Use location tags and hashtags. Double check your incident reports. Be sure to have location where the event occurred tagged with a hashtag. Okay, the number 866-888-2024. Report all election incidents to that number. It will go to Mike Lindell and his team. And do what these folks are doing. They are reporting and recording all of the anomalies. You got Karen, the Purple People Eater, posing as a poll watcher with her shiny little lanyard, telling this young lady she can't vote, pointing to the police officer to force her away. It's a tedious situation, ma'am. At 1:45 when the polls close at 4:30? Yeah. And then we have Donald Trump dropping this amazing ad.
Witch hunt. Think about all they've done to Donald Trump. First it was hoaxes, witch hunts, and impeachments. Then it was FBI raids, courtrooms, and mugshots. Finally, it was bullets in a Pennsylvania field. And after all that, this man stood up with blood draining down his face, pumped his fists in the air, and told us to fight. Fight. Fight.
America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer, greater, and more united than ever before. And we will make America great again.
We know what they think of us.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
So if Donald Trump can get through all of that, we can get out to vote.
Get out to vote. Make your voice heard. This is the last battle for the country. Take the trash out on Tuesday. Record your vote. Upload it. Call that number. Scroll back to this video. Pause it. Write that number down. Make sure you have it. When you go and vote, make sure your phones are charged, because if you're standing in line for 6 hours to vote, you don't want your phone to die. Bring a backup battery. Do whatever you can. This is how we take back the republic. So from Arizona's 100,000 unverified voters to ActBlue's $16 billion operation, we're watching a coordinated assault on election integrity. When Jamie Raskin says they won't let Trump be inaugurated even if he wins, and Wells Fargo is allegedly helping launder foreign money into campaigns, you're seeing the whole playbook. But here's what I need from you. What suspicious activity have you witnessed at your local polling station? Your eyes on the ground are our best defense. All right, we got some super chats we've got to get to real quick here, and some super stickers as well. Emax Tactical dropping a 20 spot. What's up? Should we expect any less from them? The left is evil incarnate to this nation, a disgrace to the patriots who have given their lives for the liberty this nation affords. Keep your heads on a swivel and your powder dry. EMAC Tactical. Archangel USMC dropping a 5 spot. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time. T. Vanel dropping a 4. Stating, Hippo character waves his hand in front of his neck with an awkward look on his face to signal that the player is done. Super sticker. And thank you for that. And then we got Juan dropping $10. The Shiba dog shouting good luck in a megaphone. Well, good luck to everyone out there. Thank you guys for real super chats. All right. I'm going to check the headlines real quick, and then I need to... I'm getting text messages from my family because it is my son's birthday, and I need to go celebrate that today. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy, 40 minutes ago. If you want me in D.C. to get corporate influence out of government, I need your support, and I need it now. Robert Kennedy asking for your donations and your support. Media backpedaling on the false Trump-Cheney claim. Oh, is that right? They're backpedaling? Setting new records in the backstroke, says Elijah. This is a woman's Halloween costume. The junk is definitely in the trunk. Oh, no, this is a fake ad that someone had posted. Yeah, that's not a Halloween costume. It's happening. Ron Paul. Check that out. This was an hour ago. What happened here? Elon Musk. Would be great to have Ron Paul as part of the Department of Government Efficiency. Ho, baby! Bring it! Oh, yeah. Elon Musk. Would be great to have Ron Paul as part of the Department of Government Efficiency. Ron Paul, quote tweeting, I'd be happy to talk with you about it, Elon. Oh, baby, having Ron Paul back, cutting the fat with Elon. Woo! You couldn't ask for anything better. Let's go, baby. Let's freaking go. All right. Oh. Mark Mueller. Sweet Caroline, no garbage here. Over 1,500 to see President Donald Trump speak tonight at the Fiserv Forum where the Bucks play in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Okay. All right. It's time to call the weekend, friends. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up tonight's broadcast, let's take a moment to understand the gravity of what we've uncovered in just 4 days. Americans will head to the polls in what could be the most contested election in our nation's history. And tonight, we've exposed exactly why. We're watching a coordinated assault on election integrity happening in real time. From Kentucky to Arkansas, we have video evidence of voting machines mysteriously switching votes from Trump to Harris. We have election workers refusing to check IDs even when signatures don't match. And now, thanks to a court order in Arizona, we're about to see a list of 100,000 voters who haven't provided proof of citizenship. But it doesn't stop there. Speaker Mike Johnson has blown the lid off of what could be the biggest campaign finance scandal in American history. Foreign money from China, Iran, Russia, and Venezuela allegedly flowing right through ActBlue into Democrat campaigns. A $16 billion operation that is now under congressional investigation. Wells Fargo, ActBlue, the pieces are falling into place. And that's what the mainstream media, what are they doing about it? Well, what we saw today, CBS News caught in Trump's $10 billion lawsuit for allegedly doctoring Kamala Harris's interview. Allegedly. The Washington Post losing 250,000 subscribers after their bias became too obvious to ignore. Hugh Hewitt walking off the set in disgust at their blatant election interference. So to all of our viewers who sent in super chats and Rumble rants tonight, thank you. Your insights, your experiences, your contributions. Everyone at the polling stations, your stories of media manipulation, they're all part of this larger truth we are uncovering together. So special thanks to everyone for the generous super chats. And we're forwarding all information we can to the proper authorities. But here's what you need to know. We can only keep bringing you these stories with your support. The mainstream media has billions in corporate backing, but we have you. And that's why I'm asking you to consider making a donation tonight. The links are in the description. Every dollar helps us continue this fight for truth. Remember to share this broadcast, text it to your friends, post it in your groups. The algorithms are trying to suppress us, but they can't stop the avalanche of truth. And finally, stay vigilant. We're 4 days from an election that could determine the future of our republic. So keep your phones ready to record. Document everything at your polling station. The truth is our best weapon. From all of us here at the Raw Feed, good night. Have a great weekend, and God bless America.